Maddie Rooney gets the nod tonight, undefeated so far on the season.
And Maddie's going to have to be sharp here early on. We saw Howie Draper move Abby Rock from that second line up to that top line with Alex Carpenter, trying to generate a little more offense. They've only scored 2 goals in their last couple games. And on the other side, Corrine Schroeder, can't say enough about her. We saw her first PWHL shutout in her first game. Gave up 4 goals in the last start, but Howie Draper decided to go back with her against this potent Minnesota offense.
2 great goaltenders in between the pipes this afternoon in downtown St. Paul, and we are underway as Minnesota works it into the offensive zone off the opening faceoff in the corner. Heisey in a battle, lost it. New York takes over in their own end. They look to work it out of the zone. Move it through the neutral zone. Jessie Elbridge gets a touch on it, comes in on Rooney, and she covers. Face off to the left of Rooney. Minnesota wins it. Bookbinder pushes it into the corner. To the blue line and out. Minnesota now works it through the neutral zone. With speed down the left wing on the backhand short side. Hit the outside of the post. Minnesota jumps back to it. To the point. Channel had it, lost it, then handed it off. Shot comes through, but never got all the way to the net. Joanna Fallman got in there and sent it to the point, but not out, where Minnesota sends it back in deep.
Yeah, one thing for Minnesota, we talked about it with Kendall Coyne talking about just a great start for Minnesota. They need to just keep it simple. We've seen a lot in the first period of they're getting hemmed in their own zone, but just trying to get any offensive possession that they can have.
Minnesota has done a lot of things right so far, but they have struggled at the start of games, especially here on home ice, seeing if they can change that here today as this puck gets sent in behind Rooney. Abby Cook got to it. Now a battle for it. New York trying to pull it away. They get to it. At the point, shot comes through, and Rooney sticks that one up and back behind the net. Off the glass, gathered up by New York. Vespa got it to the half wall, where Minnesota pushes it out to the red line, and New York now has to start over. Banked off the wall to the blue line.
And that's one thing that Minnesota has done such a good job of this year. Not only good goaltending from Rooney and Hensley, but their defensemen are just letting them see the puck. We saw that last shot by Taylor Baker from the point. Rooney saw it all the way in. That's exactly what you want to see as a goaltender, to be able to settle in early.
Sophia Cunnin lost that puck trying to come around the net with it. Minnesota has it in their own end. Some poor checking pressure there by LaBelle. Minnesota now works it out. Crossing that one through the neutral zone, never got to its intended target. New York takes over here. Norcross worked it to the blue line. Now Minnesota gets back to it. Kava has it. Trying to cross the ice with it, but there's some skaters changing. A little discombobulated play, but Minnesota now works it in, where Schroeder slows it down behind the net, then turns it over. Minnesota gets to it, overskated it, and New York gets back on it. Bourbonnais jumped to it. Now New York entering the zone with it. Norcross lays a check, or gets laid by a check in the corner. That shot comes through, but Minnesota able to clear it away. Now they work it out. Shot sent in. Schroeder gloves that one down and plays it off to her left, where Zavuto takes over. Zavuto and Schroeder were teammates on the Boston Pride of the PHF last year. Minnesota jumps on a turnover. Here they come. Shot taken, trying to peek out Schroeder, and Schroeder made the save, read that one well.
Yeah, huge save right away early in the first period. Turnover by New York. Krzova tries to beat Schroeder low, but good job by her of just containing that low part of the net and keeping this game scoreless.
Minnesota still staying on it in the offensive zone. Krzova trying to work it in the corner. Gave it off to Kendall Coyne Schofield, who's bottled up back behind the net by Zafuto. Nice job by Zafuto to pry that puck loose. Now along the far half wall, Minnesota still maintaining pressure. Trying to find some space in the offensive zone. Now they've got it. Crossing it. Shot comes through, never got all the way in. It was deflected by Eldridge. She got in front of that opportunity by Minnesota, and now New York works it out to the neutral zone.
A good possession right now for Minnesota. Just exactly the jump and the start that they were looking for.
In transition, Coyne Schofield takes a shot. Schroeder has a little bit of trouble with it, but then jumps on it to get the whistle. Krzova, 2 assists on the season, still looking for her first goal. Almost had it there, but Schroeder able to make the save. Now Minnesota in the corner. We've got a whistle and our first penalty of the game. It'll be a hooking call.
You can see Zumwinkle just kind of going to the net here. Toppany, just that little stick check from Ella Shelton along the boards. The cross check, the hook, everything. And it'll put her team down a woman.
Ella Shelton, 2 goals on the season, will now sit for 2 minutes in the box. New York forces it out of the zone, but they're going to take another penalty. Minnesota's going to have essentially almost a full 2 minutes of 5-on-3 hockey here. 5-on-3 hockey. Minnesota possesses off the faceoff to the point. Heisey has it. Heisey works it back to the point. Now back to Heisey. Back to Bookbinder. Into the high slot, now back to Bookbinder. Down low. Bookbinder has it, gives it off to Heisey. Heisey faked the shot, sent it to her right. Now back to Heisey. She couldn't control the pass. It comes all the way out of the zone, and Rooney will help work it back up the ice.
Yeah, good puck movement right there from Minnesota. Obviously didn't get a shot off, but have a lot of time to try to get the look that they want.
Kendall Coyne-Schofield works it in. She's bothered in the corner by Fulman. Fulman ties it up. Minnesota is able to pry it loose. Bookbinder has it, gives it off. Now worked in down low. Minnesota looking to set up, get something going early here in the first period. Down low, trying to pull it in front of the net. Save made by Schroeder and then pushed to the side of the net where Minnesota gathers it back up. Short side, that one went back behind the net. Into the corner, now to the point where Bookbinder has it. She gives it off. Heisey winds up and shoots in, a save made by Schroeder and gets the whistle. Nice shot by Heisey, but Schroeder so far staying perfect here on the penalty kill. Second power play unit now out there. Steckline sent it in down low, got it back at the circle. Back to Steckline, sends a shot in, and that one went up and over the net, hit the glass. Minnesota trying to maintain pressure. Steckline gets it back at the point, sets it up down low. Now back to Steckline. Steckline looking, gives it off to her right. Down low, trying to center the second opportunity. Schroeder laid out, the whistle blown. The puck was never covered. The net's not off its moorings, Julie. Maybe a quick whistle here in New York's favor.
Yeah, a quick whistle by the referee there, and you can see Grace Sumwinkle not happy. And that pass, kind of just, I think Schroeder got a piece of it. Huge opportunity for Minnesota that they couldn't convert on.
First penalty will be over in 10 seconds. Minnesota has had great pressure, but has yet to score. Tipped in, and this one goes up and over the net, gathered up by Minnesota. Banked off the wall to Steckline. Steckline looking, gives it off to her right, back to Steckline. First penalty is over, and the final seconds come off the second one as well. Winding up and shooting from the circle, and that one no good either. Deflected out into the neutral zone.
Yeah, really good kill for New York, especially being on the road here, killing off a 5-on-3, that last block by Ella Shelton. Keep your eye out for her. She really likes to get up into the play. Obviously was in the box on that kill.
Face off to Schroeder's right. She got a stick on that one as it came through, deflected into the corner. It's gathered up by Minnesota. New York trying to pressure, wrapped up by Ella Shelton. And Minnesota jumps to it, turning and shooting. That one went just to the wide of the net. Schroeder saw it, got a pad out. And now New York gets to it. Killed off the early 5-on-3 power play for Minnesota, but now called for icing here. Minnesota looking for more from here this afternoon, but we sit scoreless almost halfway through this first period. Back behind the net. Schroeder watches it come to her right, now bottled up in the corner. Minnesota trying to pry it loose in the offensive zone. Steckline has it from the point, sends it into the back of the net! Steckline makes it 1-0 Minnesota!
From Roseville, Minnesota, Lee Steckline. That's why you throw pucks to the net and keep it low. Lee Steckline, just a veteran player. Good forecheck by Minnesota. Get this puck up to the point. You can see nobody from New York out to challenge Steckline. Smart play by Minnesota just to throw it up the wall. Steckline walks in the middle of the ice. Traffic a little bit in front of Schroeder. Low, that's why you keep it low. She's not afraid to shoot the puck. Another former University of Minnesota Golden Gopher, Olympian with Team USA. Just a really big presence on the blue line. Steckline is not afraid to shoot the puck, but that's a big goal for Minnesota to get the lead early against New York.
So now Minnesota will skate with a 1-0 lead here. With just under 12.5 minutes to go in the first period. New York works it in. 8 shots on net for Minnesota, but again, they had that 5-on-3 as well where they tallied a couple of shots. New York just 3 shots on Rooney so far. Minnesota banks it off the wall and out to the neutral zone where it's gathered up by Taylor Baker. Baker sends it in. Rock gets a piece of it at the blue line but couldn't get it in deep. Now New York will work it in. Here comes Vespa, try to give it off to Rock. Rock takes Bookbinder into the wall and now Minnesota comes away with it.
Good response by Minnesota, especially not being able to convert on that 5-on-3. Sometimes you can get a little frustrated, gripping the sticks a little too tight, but Minnesota just kept doing what they were doing, get a lot of heavy on the forecheck, getting pucks to the net, and Lee Steckline found one to get past Schroeder.
Minnesota at their own end. Toppany lost it. Zumwinkle was there as well, and now she gets the puck. She hands it up. Torney trying to work it out of the zone. Minnesota turns it over. A piece of it there was Downey Landry, but she couldn't gather it up, so now Minnesota jumps back on it. Out of their own end. Toppany hands it off, was trying to cross the ice with it. It was intercepted by Fallman. Now right in front of the benches. Toppany has it. Dumps it all the way in. And New York gets to it. Minnesota was getting some fresh skaters on the ice, so nobody in the offensive zone to get that puck. New York good at the line. Peyton Levis lost it though. Minnesota gets back to it and works it out to the neutral zone all the way down. It got past Jamie Bourbonnais. And Brooke Hobson has it now in the corner. Hobson peels back away from some forechecking pressure.
One thing Minnesota's doing a really good job, especially their defensemen, they really do like to get up into the play, but the third forward high for Minnesota does a really good job of covering for them when they are stepping into the zone. So look for that to continue for Minnesota, and that's part of the consistency pieces. They just play such a systematic version of hockey, and they've been able to put wins in the win column because of it.
Now here comes New York through the neutral zone. Banked off the wall and in by Hobson. Rooney back behind the net to play it, gives it off. Stepping up to pressure, that play was LaBelle trying to keep it in the zone, but couldn't. Taylor Baker sends it back to Zafuto. Now off the wall, Minnesota back to it, skating with that 1-0 lead halfway through the first period. Here they come. Backhanded in towards the net, and Schroeder will glove that one down and get the whistle. Minnesota with that 1-0 lead, courtesy of Lee Steckline. New York, though, has the puck now.
And it's all about the response, right? New York, sometimes the momentum swings when you can kill off that 5-on-3, but then Minnesota finds a way to put you back on your heels. So the last part of this first period, New York really needs to focus on getting back into the O-zone, sustaining a forecheck, and trying to get people in front of Maddie Rooney, because we've seen with Rooney and Hensley, anytime they see the puck, they're more likely going to stop it. So New York has to do a better job of getting traffic in front of Rooney.
Minnesota trying to keep this puck in at the blue line. So not going to be easy for the scorers here tonight as they look to try to get some past these two great goaltenders.
Yeah, and Schroeder, that one might be one that she wants back, and she might not have seen that shot from Lee Steckline, but Schroeder, kind of a bigger goalie, more technical than Maddie Rooney. Maddie Rooney's a little more athletic, but both goaltenders very solid for their teams all year long so far.
Shot sent in here by New York. That was Jaguar who got that one in on Rooney. She makes the save. Now through the neutral zone, Minnesota carries it in all alone, the shot, the goal! Kelly Panic makes it 2-0!
Well, the Minnesota native, Kelly Panic, extends this lead to 2-0, picks up a turnover, and picks up her first PWHL goal as well. You can see in the neutral zone, just a nice little play by her to be able to kind of catch this puck, throw it to herself. Just kind of a harmless play right there, but beats both New York defensemen, and you can see her beat Schroeder, top blocker, to extend it to 2.
Kind of an awkward play at the blue line. She takes advantage of it, gets the New York defenders to knock into each other, and cashes in on the second goal of the afternoon for Minnesota. And here Minnesota comes again, over the blue line. Trying to give it off there. Now in the corner. Back behind the net, Zafuto can't reach that puck. It ends up on the far corner where Arad gets to it.
Heads up play there by Susanna Toppany in the neutral zone. Just trying to get that puck to Kelly Panic. Redirects off a couple New York players and goes right to Kelly Panic's stick, and she's all alone against Corrine Schroeder, and she doesn't miss that often, and perfect reason why Minnesota is up 2-0.
Minnesota will go off for a full-scale line change, giving New York some time in their own end to work it out of the zone. With it here is Bourbonnais. Works it in. This puck bounces in, hits the end wall where Minnesota gets to it, works it to the blue line and carried out of the zone. Now past the red line, into New York territory. Kava tries to rip the shot off. They caught the skate of Bourbonnais. Back behind the net, Minnesota still has it. DeGeorge trying to work it out. New York gets to it. On it now is Packer. Packer goes down, but New York able to get the puck out of the zone. It goes all the way down, and icing is called on New York.
Minnesota's really come out with a jump that we haven't seen all season long. Great start for Minnesota here on their home ice.
And Schroeder actually challenged that shot really well, but Panic just a snipe, able to put it home, make it 2-0 Minnesota. Now New York looking for their first goal of the game with 7 minutes to go in the first period. To the point, Shelton has it. Shelton looking, goes off the half wall, the shot comes through, never got 100% of a shot off there, so it ends up back along the wall, and Minnesota works it out. Now Heisey with it, peels back, didn't like her options entering the zone, so she'll send it all the way back down where Rooney will set it up. Kramer got a piece of it, handed it off, and now carried out of the zone. 2-on-2 at the line. Here comes Minnesota. Krzyzova tried to work that in, didn't have a great lane, and never got through.
Well, and Howie Draper said it best. New York did have a lot of jump in the first couple minutes, trying to get some ozone time. Had a couple shots on Maddie Rooney, but the penalties just killed them, especially on the 5-on-3. Even though Minnesota didn't score, they took the momentum right out of that power play into the rest of this period, and they really have controlled the game here throughout the first period.
Minnesota brought it back behind the net, but New York able to take it away. Now along the wall, Minnesota pressuring to keep it in. Nice work by Channel to send it in deep. Shelton got a piece of it for New York. Now a couple players collide in front of the official, but New York able to work it out. Now here comes Rock. Rock in on the left wing. Doesn't have anybody with her, so she tries to waste some time at the top of the zone. Then she sends it in deep as some more New York skaters enter the zone. New York still looking for their first goal of the afternoon. Great stick there by Minnesota to work it out of the zone. That was Toppany who got a piece of that one. Kept in at the line, sent in down low. Turning, trying to carry that one to the front of the net, and she hit the deck as she did so. Never got a shot off. Toppany in the corner, bothered there by Hobson. Puck is still loose. Now Minnesota gets to it, sends it to the point. Steckline, the first goal scorer of the afternoon, hands it off to her right. That shot comes through, didn't get all the way in. It caught the skate of Bourbonnais. Now back to the point. Minnesota gathers it up. Some good pressure by New York. They could be 2-on-1 if they hustle. Here they come in the offensive zone. New York trying to gather it up. Puck is loose, then Minnesota able to jump to it. Great work to recover there on that sequence, Julie.
Yeah, Minnesota's just doing a really good job in their D zone of just creating havoc and chaos for New York, not giving them a lot of time and space to really set up anything, and it's just making New York that much more frustrated.
Toppany turned it over, New York able to keep it in, but then Minnesota gets back to it. Steckline backhands it out of the zone. Now on the stick of Baker. She works it up to Emma Woods, who dumps it in. Back behind the net, a battle for it. Minnesota comes away with it. Along the half wall, crossing the zone with it, they get it out. Cunnin was able to dump it in, took the hit, made the play though. Zafudo was on her there, right in front of the bench. With it here, Emma Woods, able to dump it out to the red line. Minnesota gets back to it. And turning with it here, Kava. Kava hands it up. Couldn't catch the pass cleanly there at the blue line was Minnesota, so now New York able to jump on this one. Kept in there at the half wall, sent back in deep by Kramer. Now Kava with it. Kava trying to work towards the net. That one went through the lower slot, but nobody home. Now along the half wall with it. Here comes Minnesota trying to pull it loose. Still tied up. New York keeping Minnesota bottled up along the wall here. Minnesota works it to the other side of the ice where Bryant's still in a battle with Shelton. DeGeorge in there as well. New York able to come away with it, work it to the blue line, just escaped the zone. Minnesota has to touch up.
And Minnesota, you can see right here, just really heavy on the forecheck, forcing New York to make plays up the ice, and it's really just been all Minnesota in a possession game since the drop of the puck. And you can see even in the neutral zone, Abby Cook is holding that red line. The defensemen are doing such a good job of just having tight gaps and not allowing New York to get any time and space in their defensive zone.
Norcross sent a shot through for New York, but nobody home on the back door to get a piece of it. Minnesota works it back up the other way. Just under 3 minutes to go here in the first period. Minnesota has 2 goals. Hanging on to that 2-0 lead. They have it in the offensive zone. Heisey tried to center that one into the slot. Not able to grab it. Now worked out of the zone by Eldridge. Eldridge gets to her own bank off the wall. Sent it towards Rooney. Now centering the shot, and that one never made its way through. Ends up in the corner. Minnesota facing a little bit of trouble here late in the period. Another shot comes through, banks off the post. Heard that one all the way up here in the press box, Julie.
Yeah, this top line, and this was what Howie Draper was kind of looking for, more production out of this top line. That's why Abby Rock was moved up there. 2 great chances for her, But Maddie Rooney stands her ground, square to the puck, and the only thing she has to shoot at is that pipe. So Abby Rock in New York trying to just create a little offense here in the last couple minutes in the first period.
Alex Carpenter stripped of the puck there, the number 2 star of the week in the PWHL. Now here comes Minnesota. Toppany works it back behind the net, cycles all the way around, now to the point, hands it off to Steckline. Now in down low, that shot comes through, but Schroeder had the short side all tied up, makes the save, gets the whistle, and a little bit of tempers flaring after the whistle. Looking for the stretch pass there for Javier. She wasn't able to collect the puck. Could have been a dangerous chance for New York there off the faceoff. Down to the final minute and a half of play in the first period. Here comes Minnesota crossing the red line. Toppany carries it down the left wing, tried to send it in. It went off a New York skater. That was Fallman who got in front of that one. Now tied up on the far corner. Minnesota gets back to it, tries to ring it around back behind the net. Now coming away with it. Into the circle, trying to get it to the point, couldn't get it through, and now out to the red line. Minnesota starts over. Steckline will dump it in and get some fresh skaters on the ice.
Yeah, and I really like Susanna Toppany's game here today, even though she doesn't have a goal, but has some points on the board this season, but just really smart, being able to make plays, win board battles in the neutral zone, and just being so patient with the puck. Really impressed with her here in the first period.
Toppany 2 assists on the season, the native of Turku, Finland. Has done some good things here for this Minnesota team through 3 games.
Last minute of play.
Last minute of play in the first period. Steckline carries it in. She got the scoring started tonight. Couldn't get that puck through to the net though. Rang all the way around the zone and out. Minnesota dumps it back in, but will have to touch up to avoid the offside call. That gives New York some space to work with. Bourbonnais now. Bourbonnais carries it down the right wing. Tried to work past Steckline. Gave up the puck though. Now Minnesota has it. Flaherty out of the zone. Minnesota could have an odd skater rush here. Shot comes through, short side. It went just wide, and New York able to escape some trouble. Now with it here, Abby Rock. Abby Rock, a goal and an assist so far on the season. Tried to get the puck in deep, but Minnesota able to cut that off. Now up along the wall, Bryant gets to it, but the buzzer will sound for the end of the first period where Minnesota leads 2-0.
They're definitely happy with that first period in their 4th game of the PWHL season. Well, Minnesota is up 2-0 heading into the first intermission. Kelly, we were talking to Kendall Coyne-Schofield pre-game, talking about your starts, how you're kind of slow heading into that first intermission. What do you think about the start here today? 2-0, really did a good job of just kind of from the net out doing everything right for your team this afternoon.
Yeah, I thought that was the best first period as a whole that we've had in the first now 4 games, which is great. I mean, we've had 3 home games in a row. We should be well rested. We haven't had to travel, and I thought we finally put together a complete period to start the game.
And, you know, everyone says 2-goal lead is the worst lead in hockey. How do you kind of carry this momentum into the rest of the 40 minutes and just kind of focus on what your team can do to kind of play consistent hockey through the rest of the game?
Yeah, I think it's just not focusing on the score. Keep playing the game the right way. I think after we scored, we just kept putting our staying on the front foot, getting pucks in deep, getting after it, not letting them get anything easy and free. And like I said, just not worrying about that scoreline.
And tell us a little bit about your first goal in PWHL history. You know, you talked a little bit about a broken play. Toppany gets you that puck and just kind of right place, right time. Tell me a little bit about that goal.
Yeah, we try to make strong plays on the puck, keep it simple, use our feet. I don't get many breakaways often, and luckily it was only from the blue line in. Puck was kind of rolling, so I just decided to shoot it hard towards that blocker side.
Thanks so much, Kelly, and good luck in the last 40.
Thank you.
You gotta love Minnesotans. It's like -5 degrees out here today, Julie, and what did they do? They decided, let's head to a hockey rink to warm up and watch some hockey. And it's been a fun one here this afternoon as Minnesota leads New York 2-0. We get started here now for the second period. Schroeder slows that one down back behind the net. New York works it all the way out of the zone. And Minnesota will get to it. Lee Steckline got the scoring started, carries the puck out now. Gets it to the blue line where Coyne-Schofield got a piece of it, but well ahead of the red lines.
New York definitely has some weapons out there, but they're trying to put that first period behind them. Not the exact way how they wanted to start on the road, but focusing on keeping it simple here early in the second period and getting more pucks to Maddie Rooney.
Here comes Minnesota down the left wing. Speaking of the start, Zumwinkle threw that out front, and a huge hit laid down low. Slow to her feet as Panic. She does get back up and will head off to the bench. Looked like she said something to the official perhaps after that play, but no penalty coming. Nothing that drew the attention of the officials as the play now in Minnesota's end is worked to the blue line and out.
Yeah, Panik and Zumwinkle have such great chemistry from their time at the University of Minnesota. So when Panik sees Zumwinkle cutting to the net, she's just trying to go right there in the slot, but gets kind of upended by Zafudo, was looking for the call, but we remain 5-on-5.
Minnesota had a 5-on-3 in the first period, couldn't score, but got 2 goals after that. They were looking for an opportunity there, but New York gets it out to the red line. Gathered back up by Minnesota. They work it in their own end, now back out the other way. Here comes Minnesota down the right wing. This shot sent in, and some trouble for Schroeder, and cleared out of harm's way by Jade Downey Landry. Nice work by New York to help out Schroeder on that sequence as this shot comes in on Rooney. She sends that into the corner. Now Minnesota back the other way in transition. From the left circle, that one sent through the top of the crease, but nobody home to get a piece of it. Kept in at the line by Abby Cook. Trying to work it up the boards, but New York intercepts and works it out the other way.
Yeah, Brooke Bryant had a golden opportunity off that rebound that was kind of bobbled by Schroeder, but once again, Minnesota just kind of picking up right where they left off in that first period, getting a lot of good chances here early in the second.
New York with it now in their own end. Madison Packer put through the zone. Kept in here by Minnesota. Now to the point. Flaherty sends this one in, and getting a piece of it was Schroeder. A great look. New York now gets back to it. Savannah Norcross carries it out of the zone all by herself. Runs into some trouble right after she exited the zone, but now here comes New York. Handing this one off to LaBelle. LaBelle peels back, gives it off to the point. Working it in down low, backhand towards the net, and Rooney made the first save, and New York not able to get to the second opportunity.
Yeah, Norcross just trying to redirect that puck cutting to the net, but Rooney did a really good job of just closing that low part of the net, keeping that stick in the 5-hole to keep this a 2-goal lead for her team.
Rooney has yet to give up a goal on the season, got the shutout in her first start here at the XL Energy Center. And now in her second start here tonight against New York. Sent in by Minnesota, they'll get some fresh skaters out there. New York trying to work it out of the corner. Now back behind their own net, getting a piece of it there was Bourbonnais. Minnesota working to keep it in. They do. Now from the circle, cutting to the front and couldn't take the puck with her. New York dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, just a little out of the reach there of Kendall Coyne, kind of mishandled that play. Great step down by Melissa Channel to keep the puck in the zone. You can see Minnesota just going straight on the attack once again.
And Heisey gets a look in there on Schroeder, who saw that one the whole way through. Just about 5 minutes into the second period, Minnesota with a 2-0 lead. Both goals came back in the first period. New York works it out of their own end and all the way down where it's chased down by Melissa Channel. She gives it up. And now out of their own end, Natalie Bookbinder got it to the red line where it's turned over. Here comes New York. Shot short side, save made by Maddie Rooney. She was able to watch that play develop the whole way through, got in position and made the save.
Yeah, another great thing that Minnesota is doing is just keeping New York to the perimeter. You're very confident in Rooney or Hensley that they're going to stop that shot from that far out. So once again, a great job by Minnesota in their defensive zone to keep New York to the outside.
It's actually something Minnesota has seemed to done well, especially here on home ice, is not giving those grade A chances in the slot, keeping things to the outside as this shot comes through, and Rooney way out to challenge, was nearly at the hash marks, but Minnesota getting in front of it, never got through to Rooney.
Yeah, and the reason that puck got to the point too, Rooney did a great job with her stick of deflecting that because there were players right in front of her, so she'd rather take that shot from the point. You can see, like you said, Alexis, challenging way out front. Maddie Rooney very confident in her positioning right now.
New York with a little bit of life the last couple minutes, looking for their first goal of the game. They work it down in the offensive zone. Trying to push it in deep there was Vespa. She got it back behind the net, but Minnesota jumps to it. Kramer got to it and gives it off to Abby Cook. Now Abby Cook works it out to the blue line, tipped out of the zone nicely by Cunnin. New York, though, first to it after Cunnin got a piece of it. Spinning away from trouble there was Bourbonnais, but she can't get it out of the zone. This time it'll be Brooke Hobson looking to work it out. Minnesota heads off for a change, so New York a little bit of room to breathe here, carries it to the red line. Dumped all the way down, and New York will get some fresh skaters on the ice. Kramer in the corner got tied up there by Norcross. And now Minnesota comes away with it along the boards, dumps it out to the red line. New York is on it.
Yeah, smart play right there by Claire DeGeorge, just recognizing that New York is backing off and just chipping that puck in the neutral zone out of the zone. You're good at rebound control and you kind of settle into the game right now. That's usually kind of consistent throughout the rest of the game. So Maddie Rooney has been really good for Minnesota here early on, has just done her job and just kept everything to the outside.
And so many good scores on this New York team, so you limit the rebounds, you limit more opportunities for those grade A chances from the best on this New York roster. As this puck is tied up back behind Rooney with her helmet back securely on. They got it all sorted out on the bench, so resume play. That shot sent in from the point, never got all the way through. Minnesota gets it out. Backhanded to the red line, didn't get a lot on it, was Kava, so New York gets to it. Minnesota trying to hustle to that puck to keep New York from carrying it up the ice, but New York works it into the offensive zone. Trying to center that pass with Abby Rock. Minnesota got to it first, now looking for the backdoor feed. Never got to Jesse Eldridge. Minnesota able to tie it up. Now New York with it, trying to swing it back the other way. Minnesota jumps on the turnover. Along the board, some pressure by Shelton. They both ran into the official along the wall. Now Minnesota, Bookbinder sends that one in. Back behind the net. Out down low, wasn't able to pull the trigger, was Kendall Coyne-Schofield. Krizova back behind the net, centering. This shot comes through and Schroeder somehow saw it, got a piece of it.
Yeah, good play right there in their D zone by Fallman just to kind of intercept that pass just a little further out, so Schroeder was able to react a little split second later. But once again, Minnesota putting on the pressure here in the offensive zone.
Centering pass in the slot, not able to pull the trigger was Krizova. Minnesota back on it though. Heisey crosses the ice with it. Trying to work it down into the left circle. Now back behind the net. Toppany steps up, trying to get a piece of it. Overskated it. New York gets to it. Cook not able to keep it in at the blue line. Here comes New York. With it now is Levis. Centered that one to Emma Woods. Woods couldn't pull the trigger.
Yeah, dangerous 2-on-1 there with Peyton Levis. Just kind of throws it to the middle of Emma Woods, but just out of the reach. Good back check there by Grace Zumwinkle just to kind of get just a little in her back check.
Minnesota looking for the tic-tac-toe play there. Zumwinkle gave it off for Panic, and Panic couldn't complete the third pass. Now this shot comes in, and the save made by Rooney. Zumwinkle 4 goals on the season. We know she's got the offensive power. Looks like she can play defense too. Now worked in down low by New York. Trying to get that out front. The shot comes through, and Rooney got in front of it. Never got a full shot off. Was Vespa. Kind of whiffed on the opportunity, but Rooney still able to make the save.
Yeah, golden opportunity from Kayla Vespa. Found herself wide open in front of the net, and I think she realized, she's kind of surprised on how much time she did have, so kind of fumbled the puck a little bit, but Rooney once again closing that 5-hole, controlling the low part of the net, and not allowing a rebound right into the slot.
New York now 12 shots on the afternoon, but yet to find their first goal of the game. This puck comes all the way down. It'll be icing on New York. And speaking of Maddie Rooney, who's had to make a few more saves here in this second period, she's been good so far.
And Minnesota's been a little more on their heels in this period than the first, but Maddie Rooney, you can see her following that play in the reverse VH out to the middle. Does a good job of realizing that, hey, I'm just going to stay down and cover this low part of the net, confident in her positioning, and keeps this a 2-goal lead for her team.
Bryant trying to tip that one towards the net. It ends up back behind the net, and now New York takes it away from Minnesota, carries it out of the zone. Defenders play catch for Minnesota. Flaherty all the way up the ice. Was looking for the long pass, a little too hot to handle for Cava. New York with it here. Bourbonnais lost it. Minnesota carried it out front and couldn't get the shot off on Schroeder. Now along the boards. Hobson in a battle there, but gets some help from Alexandra LaBelle. Minnesota back on it, then lost it again. New York able to clear the zone with it, gets it to the red line and then to the blue line, where Steckline gets it for Minnesota. Brooke Bryant.
New York's doing a really good job right now of just collapsing in front of Schroeder when Minnesota's putting on the pressure and having some zone time, not allowing any really good grade A looks and just making Minnesota uncomfortable, something that Minnesota has done to New York all game long.
This shot comes through from the point. It did get all the way through. Schroeder made the save. Shot was taken by Bookbinder. Minnesota cycles it high. Now worked it down low to the circle, cutting to the high slot. Shot comes through and it hit Brooke Hobson out front. Minnesota back on it, maintaining some pressure here. Bookbinder crosses the zone with it. Shot comes through, back door. No stick there to get a piece of it. And now New York is on it, banked off the wall, but not out. Bookbinder holds at the line. Some pressure though, and then finally New York forces it out. Savannah Norcross got a piece of it at the red line. Minnesota turns it right back the other way. Here they come. The handoff there to Kendall Coyne Schofield didn't work. She gets back to it though. And back behind the net now. Krzyzova with it. Krzyzova was waiting for some help. Minnesota was changing. Now she's tied up along the wall. New York pulls it loose and able to get it to the blue line, but not out.
Well, this top line for Minnesota has really been all over the ice the last couple games. Just the chemistry that they're already beginning to develop here early in the season. We saw the last play by Taylor Heisey just kind of coming up on the top of the circles, throwing it to the net.
We are back here with just over 8 minutes to go in the period. Minnesota still with the 2-0 lead. A quick shot in, nice release, but Schroeder ready for it, makes the glove save, brings up the whistle. Face off to the right of Schroeder. New York wins it cleanly. At the half wall, not able to get it out. Toppany gets a piece of it, keeps it in. Now Panic high slot takes a shot, and that went up and over the net. She's got a goal already this afternoon, was looking for her second of the day.
Yeah, just another quick release. Kelly Panic, just such a strong shot, can get it to the net, but couldn't find a way to beat Schroeder high on that glove side.
Toppany with it now along the far wall. Crosses paths, gives it off. Back behind the net. Panic got a piece of it, deflected it up to the half wall. Where getting to it there is Abby Rock. Now out of the zone with it is Carpenter. Carpenter hands it off. Hot pass, a little too hot to handle for Jesse Eldridge, and Minnesota is able to get to it. Head up. Zumwinkle lost the handle on that one. Nice pressure by New York to force her off the puck, but they come in offside, and we get a whistle with 7:13 to go in the second period. Let's take another look at that opportunity by Panic, trying to make this a 3-0 lead for Minnesota.
Yeah, you might as well give it to the hot hand, and Toppany keeps this puck in, gives it to Kelly Panic, who just changes the angle a little bit, pulling it from her backhand to forehand, and didn't miss by much to extend this to 3.
Now New York with it. Brings it up along the boards, kept in by Cunnin. Sent in down low. New York back on it. Now a battle for the puck. New York comes away with it, worked out of the zone. Minnesota back on it at the red line. Forcing it in is Arar. And we've got the arm up from the official. It's a delayed penalty on Minnesota. Schroeder is off for the extra skater. It'll be 6-on-5 until the whistle is blown. New York with it here, down by 2, looking for their first of the night, and this one comes in and goes wide. Now Minnesota touches up, that'll bring up the whistle, and they'll be forced to kill a penalty here, up by 2 goals with 6:32 to go in the period.
Well, as Ken Klee mentioned, there's a lot of time left in this game, so.
Minnesota, number 9, 2 minutes for a trip.
And Abby Cook gets the tripping call just in the neutral zone here.
And Minnesota, nice work to force that puck out of the zone off the first face-off here on the power play for New York. New York will go the full length of the ice now. They carry it up to the blue line where they face some pressure from Minnesota. It's dumped all the way back down. Already almost 30 seconds gone on the power play for New York. They could really use a goal here to get the scoring started on their side of the scoreboard here tonight. With speed, Ella Shelton. Shelton peels back, hands it off to the point. Now over to Rock. Rock circles around, dances into the circle, gives it to the high slot. The shot comes through, but deflected by Zumwinkle. And now this pass off the wall, kept in at the point by Shelton. Rock with it here. Rock and Shelton cross path, then Shelton gets the puck back from the circle, deflected into the back of the net. And guess who? Alex Carpenter cuts into the Minnesota lead. It's a power play goal, and New York is on the board.
Well, just what a play by New York here on the power play. Ella Shelton is so dangerous in that spot on the wall. We saw her first goal in the PWHL, but look at that seeing eye pass, little missed coverage there by Bookbinder with Carpenter on the backside, and she knows it, but that's a player you can't leave wide open. Maddie Rooney has no chance as she has to be square to that shot.
So now Minnesota with just a 1-goal lead with just over 5 minutes to go in the second period. Let's see how they respond now, Julie, to giving up their first goal of the afternoon.
Well, and keep in mind, this is why we didn't see this in the first period, because Ella Shelton and Abby Rock were 2 of the players that were in the box for New York, so they didn't have an opportunity to be on that power play. So good job by them of just being able to get pucks to the net. It didn't take long.
Step line Running with it here, back behind the net, facing some pressure there by Peyton Levis. Does work it out of the zone though. And Maddie Rooney's shutout streak ends on the Alex Carpenter goal as well. Again, Rooney perfect on her first start of the season. Now giving up her first goal in the PWHL. New York with it here, along the wall. Worked out to the neutral zone. Nice deke there by Rock to avoid some pressure, but did lose the puck. Minnesota dumps it in. Icing waved off. Rock got a piece of it at the wall, hands it off. Carpenter couldn't clear the zone. Minnesota keeps it in. 4.5 to go in the period. Sent all the way down by Minnesota. Schroeder will slow it down back behind her net. Roque catches it at the half wall. Bookbinder is there as well. All tied up.
When you talked about it, Alexis, is how does Minnesota respond? Now they're still up by a goal, but they have to just go back to what they've been doing all game of just getting in hard on pucks, hunting pucks like Coach Ken Klee had said, and they don't want to get off their game just because New York had a good opportunity on the power play and capitalize on it, because they're still controlling the majority of this game, so they need to continue to work on their game and focus on getting pucks deep and going to work.
Now a 2-on-1 for New York. Here they come down the wing. The shot and a glove save by Maddie Rooney. Denies the tying goal. 3.5 minutes to go in the second period. New York trying to carry it in. Vespa lost it in her skates, but gets some help. Now working it in down low, looking for the backdoor feed. Rooney was ready, but the shot never came through. New York keeps it at the line. Shelton sends it all the way in. Rooney gets her stick on it, sends it into the corner where Downey Landry gets a piece of it. Now to the point and nobody home. They were changing one of their defenders, New York was. That left a lot of space open at the top of the zone, and Minnesota was able to work it out, but New York gets it right back in.
Well, you can see right now Minnesota is definitely on their heels. New York's gotten a lot of jump in their steps since they've made it, put it within one, but remember that last save by Maddie Rooney on that 2-on-1 heading into break. I mean, she's just been so solid for this team all year, but remember that save. It could be a big one late in the game here.
Tunnin backhands this one out of the zone. Gathered up here by Bourbonnais. She gives it up, and New York able to work it in, but it banks off the top of the glass. We get a whistle.
Maddie Rooney's made a couple big saves here late, but Minnesota needs to get back to playing simple hockey and not having their defense step up, especially if their forwards are not going to cover back and give those odd man rushes to New York. You know that teams are going to push being down, and right now Minnesota has one goal behind them because of it, but New York is doing a really good job of just kind of putting that first period aside, knowing that they came in on the road, might have been a little slow early on, but have gotten back to their game and especially gained a lot of momentum since that power play goal.
This one sent back in behind Rooney. And now out of the zone with it. New York is on it. Shelton backhands it off to her right. Quickly in transition, here comes New York trying to work past the Minnesota defense. The short side shot taken and the save made by Rooney.
Well, I think that's what makes it so exciting, because so many players have Olympic level talent, and then you throw the Patty Kazmaier Award winner in there, and it's just really impressive from the net out what we have seen so far in this league. And we're just getting started, Alexis. I feel like we've already seen so much hockey, but there's been so many great plays out there on the ice, and the talent is just, from the net out, is just phenomenal in this league.
It almost feels like we've been playing for a month or so with all the storylines and the history of these players. So much talent on the ice night after night. So many of these players have played with each other, either at the national level, the college level. It has been so fun to get to know more about these players as they join these new teams here in the PWHL. Minnesota trying to backhand a shot towards the net. Schroeder jumps on the puck and brings up the whistle. Face-off win there by New York. However, it's been Minnesota who most of the night has had the advantage in the face-off dot. That shot sent in. And hitting the deck there was Joanna Fallman. This puck comes loose. Schroeder, good heads-up play to get a stick on that one and clear it out of harm's way. Now sent all the way back into Minnesota territory. This brings up a whistle. Wins the face-off there. Got it to Toppany, who sent a shot in. Down to 5 seconds to go. To the point, shot comes through. That one hits the end wall, and the final second will come off the clock. The horn will sound, and that'll do it through 40 minutes of play. Minnesota leads 2-1.
We're back at the XL Energy Center. Minnesota up 2-1 over New York into the second intermission. We're here with Alex Carpenter of New York. Alex, probably not the start that you were looking for in that first period, but you kind of maintained the ebbs and flows of the game. Got a power play in the second to put your team within one. Is that a kind of a set play that Ella Shelton is looking for you on the backside?
Not necessarily a set play. I just know how smart of a player Ella is, so just always try to get open for her, and it was a great pass from her.
Now your team's down 2-1 heading into the third period. What's kind of the key for your team to get the equalize here early?
Yeah, I think we got to play a little tougher here. I think we're making it easier for Minnesota to get into our zone, and I think we got to be more like that, getting pucks deep and getting pucks on net.
And what can you say, just about your pure goal scoring ability? You're you're second in the league in goal scoring. What's kind of what you've done over your years to just kind of have a knack for the net?
Just learn from a lot of great players before me. Try to simulate some things players do, like Hillary Knight, and just try to do the little things right every day.
Well, we appreciate your time, Alex, and good luck in the third.
Thank you.
Minnesota with that 1-goal lead. They scored both of their goals in the first, and now looking for a third there, but great breakup on the play by Jesse Eldridge to not allow Minnesota that opportunity. Now back the other way, here comes New York, handing it off. The shot taken by Eldridge and the glove save made by Rooney. Some end-to-end action to get things started here in the third period. So New York with it now at their own blue line. This one tipped in by Jesse Eldridge. Minnesota gathers it up back behind their own net. Some pressure there. Minnesota hands it off and works it out of the zone. This will come all the way down, and it'll be an icing call on Minnesota. And that'll give us a chance now to tell you, great job by these fans here in Minnesota showing up for this team. And they've been treated to some good performances so far. Minnesota, though, in a tight one here in the third period as they dump it in.
Well, especially for Minnesota, when you see that many home fans in the rink, you just get that much more jump in your step and that much more excitement to go out there and try to score a goal and just play your best. So that's awesome that we have, once again, a great crowd on hand this afternoon.
New York with it here in their own end. Gave it off to Emma Woods. She crosses it over to Jamie Bourbonnais, who couldn't catch the pass. Minnesota is quickly on it, trying to cause her some trouble. And now Hobson, pressured by Panic, to the blue line and out. New York trying to work it towards Minnesota's side of the ice, but Cunnin sends it back behind her own net, where it's picked up there by Bookbinder. Natalie Bookbinder gives it off to the half wall. And now worked out to Toppany, who was bothered. New York able to jump on the puck there. Tipped in off the stick of Jade Downey-Landry, and back behind Minnesota's net, they get to it. Some space to work out of the zone. Here they come. They're good at the line. Down the wing, centering, and nobody was home, but it comes to the near side of the ice where Minnesota dumps it in deep. Back behind the net, working out to the point. Trying to send that one in down low and whiffed on the play. New York is able to get to it and clear it out of the zone. And Minnesota back to it now in their own end.
And New York's done a lot better job as the game has went on, just picking up sticks in their defensive zone. Little lapse in coverage, I thought, in the first period, allowing Minnesota to just get shots through and sticks in front of the net, but they're doing a lot better job as the game has gone on and cleaning up their D zone.
New York with them. They're trying to work it out front, looking for the short side tap in. And Rooney once again was there. New York keeps it in at the line. Now some pressure from Minnesota, forces it out to the neutral zone. Here they come in transition. Down the right wing, stopping, waiting. Off the bench, a fresh defense comes in, pushes it in deep. Claire DeGeorge is tied up along the wall, trying to maintain possession for Minnesota. She goes down. New York is now on it. Shelton clears it up to the corner. New York with some space to work will get it out of the zone. Savannah Norcross got it to the blue line, but not in. She has it on her stick, now loses it. New York was changing. Here comes Minnesota. Heisey takes a shot and a save made by Schroeder there. Good look by Heisey, not able to find the back of the net, though, to extend this lead for Minnesota.
Yeah, and this play all started back in the defensive zone. Maggie Flaherty just held her blue line. Great stick play to allow Heisey and the rest of her line mates to get up into the zone. And Heisey's the last person Corrine Schroeder wants uncontested in the slot, but she got the best of that last chance.
Heisey with another look on the short side there. Schroeder made another save. Minnesota's top line, who scored all the goals in the other matchup on home ice a few nights ago, are out on the ice now.
And something to keep an eye on, especially in the third period. The physicality is definitely going to pick up. Maggie Flaherty kind of gave Abby Rock a pretty heavy shove there in the offensive zone. So keep your eye out for the physicality to pick up here in the third period.
Abby Rock with it now. She comes in with Eldridge. Rock still on it. Centers, nobody was home. Rooney watched that one go by her. Banked off the wall and in deep by Fulman. With it here is Eldridge. Eldridge from the circle trying to center that one. And it comes all the way across to the other side of the zone. To the line, not out. New York trying to keep it in the offensive zone, but Minnesota able to clear to the red line. Rock backhands it off. Minnesota got to it first though. Toppany works it out of the zone. Now here comes Minnesota up the ice. Cutting towards the net, the shot and the pad save made by Schroeder. She kicked it out, but nobody home for Minnesota to get the second opportunity. Now high in the zone, the shot comes through. It went off the body out front. That was Panic who ate that puck. Never got through to the net.
You can't talk enough about Grace Zumwinkle and what she brings every single shift. She's used her body to drive to the net so many times on her offhand and even on her forehand as well, just trying to get pucks to the net, creating a rebound out for Schroeder. But her teammates don't seem to be with her the second and third opportunities for them to get into the zone, but Zumwinkle has just been really a driving force for Minnesota here this afternoon.
New York on the second try, able to get it out of the zone. Minnesota tried to force it back the other way from the red line. At the blue line, a battle for it now. Right along the wall in front of the New York bench. The skaters on the bench watch on. Minnesota comes away with it. Cunnin worked it to the half wall, got the puck backhands it towards the high slot. The shot taken and Schroeder gloves it down. Might have been going wide, but she wastes no time getting the whistle. And New York hung in there in the first period where Minnesota maintained most of the pressure, got a couple of goals. They came back with a goal of their own on the power play in the second, and now hanging around here in the third looking for that tying goal. They've had some looks. 19 shots registered on net in this one, but still down by a goal as Minnesota sends a shot in there. Save made by Schroeder. Sent in deep by Minnesota along the half wall and out into the neutral zone. Backhanded in towards New York's end. Gathered up by Ella Shelton. Again, Shelton, a tremendous piece here in the PWHL. Scored the first goal ever in the PWHL back on opening day. And set up that play for Alex Carpenter on the power play that gave them their first goal of the game. New York comes in offside here. 12.5 minutes to go. New York trails by 1. Sent in by Jesse Eldridge. Rooney slows it down behind the net. And Rooney then has to make a pad save. That shot came in quickly off the half wall. Rooney, who had played the puck behind the net, was just getting reset there.
Well, and there's that athleticism of Maddie Rooney. Great job by her of stopping that puck behind the net.
And Eldridge sent that one in down low, looking for the backdoor tip-in by Rock. She got a piece of it, but couldn't find the back of the net. A scramble for it in the slot, and Minnesota wiping the sweat off their brow on that one, able to clear it out and get some fresh bodies on the ice. And we are going to have a penalty here. Interference is the call. And looks like it's going to be New York heading to the penalty box. Brooke Hobson.
Well, Minnesota got lucky, especially when they were hemmed in their own zone, but Kendall Coyne-Schofield, you can see her speed just being in the neutral zone. Hobson held her up, but New York is pressing. Rooney, like you said, threw that puck up the wall.
And on that last sequence, Abby Rock almost had a crack at the open net, but was handcuffed by the puck, so Rooney dodged a bullet there. Lucky that Rock did find that one cleanly on her stick. So Minnesota, a chance for an insurance goal here. Up by 1 in the third period. Centering down low, the shot taken. And that one sent back to the point. Minnesota sets it up again. 20 seconds into the power play. Toppany from the circle winds up and Schroeder makes a save. And now at the half wall. Carried out by Minnesota. Kendall Coyne-Schofield hands it off to her right. Now along the wall. Heisey tied up. Handful of players up along the boards. New York, of course, just trying to tie that puck up to kill a few more seconds off this penalty kill. Minnesota, though, comes away with it. Toppany winds up and shoots, and a blocked shot made by New York. Minnesota back on it, and another shot, another save. Cleared to the top of the zone. Minnesota's had some looks, but haven't been able to get it past Schroeder on the power play. The crowd is liking the effort. Bookbinder has it. Bookbinder sent it into the corner. Nobody was home, so New York winds up and sends it all the way down the ice. They get it clear. They'll get some new skaters out for the penalty kill. Rooney sets it up here, and Panic with it now.
Well, super exciting 1.5 minutes on that power play. New York needed that kill, but so many grade A looks for Minnesota. We haven't said her name too much in this game. Liz Sheppers did such a great job of being a net front presence, trying to take the eyes away of Corrine Schroeder, but not enough pucks through to get to Sheppers that she could bang one home, but really good pressure and looks on this power play for Minnesota.
Now Panic from the circle, facing some trouble, so she backpedals towards the blue line. Now re-enters the circle, and down low, Zumwinkle bangs it off the post! And now we are going to have a hand pass called. This face-off will come out of the zone. And Panic arguing that it was her stick that passed the puck, not her hand, but the officials not hearing any of it. 5 shots on the power play for Minnesota, but they come up empty. Into the slot, this puck ends up. Bryant was trying to gather that one up, couldn't get a handle on it. It finds its way into the neutral zone, and now New York will slow things down. A huge penalty kill for New York to keep this just a 1-goal game. And now we're gonna have a penalty called on Minnesota. I don't know about this one, Julie. I'd like to see it again. Live, I saw it happen and thought the officials might call this. Brooke Bryant called for tripping. In real time, I didn't like this call, but taking another look at it, she hit her with the can opener, and that is going to be a penalty for Minnesota.
You saw the power play goal from New York. This is what they were looking for.
And a shot off the pipe. Rooney spinning around. The puck is in the net, and New York has tied it. It was a chaotic sequence. And I think it's going to be Carpenter again credited with this goal. The first shot went in off the pipe. Rooney lost her whereabouts, and all of a sudden the puck was in the back of the net. Here's another look at it.
Well, special teams make the difference and usually are the deciding factor in games, but they just waited for their opportunities. And like the first power play goal we saw in New York, it didn't take long. Ella Shelton loves to shoot the puck. Great shot by her. Crossbar and out, but they follow it up and find a way to get one by Rooney.
2 unanswered goals from New York. And 8.5 minutes to go in this game now. Things are heating up. New York has it now. To the high slot. Hobson with it, sends it in down low, back behind the net. Gathered up in the corner by New York.
Scored by number 9, Jesse Eldridge.
Shot comes in from the point by Jamie Bourbonnais. The crowd booing that Eldridge goal. It silenced them a little bit here. There was a lot of energy in this building, Julie, especially when Minnesota got to that 2-0 lead, and that lead has now evaporated. The crowd silent as they try to digest what just happened.
Well, and that's a big reason why you have to stay out of the box. You can't give any team a momentum, especially seeing that second period power play goal that New York had. But I don't think Ken Cleese necessarily mad about the Ella Shelton shot that went off the crossbar, but talk about picking up sticks from your coverage in front of the net. Minnesota didn't do that, so we saw a couple second and third looks that found a way to get one past Rooney.
Minnesota able to work this out of the zone. The crowd likes the effort. New York has it now in their own end. And now the crowd urging on Minnesota, chanting for them, hoping they can pull ahead. Trying the centering pass and broken up nicely by Brooke Bryant, and Steckline now carries it out of the zone. Steckline into New York territory. She's pressured by Bourbonnais. Steckline still on it, ties it up along the board. She gets some help.
Ladies, hands down! Hands down! Play the puck! Move your
You can hear the official picking up on our mic saying, play the puck. They're not going to blow the whistle, hoping that this puck can be pried loose. It is. Now along the wall with it. DeGeorge gives it off to the point. Sending that one in was Flaherty, and Schroeder comes out with the glove save and a little bit of pushing and shoving after the play.
Credit New York and how they've adjusted their game.
Now in alone, Carpenter, Rooney gets a toe on it. Oh my, I don't know how that one stayed out of the net. Alex Carpenter tried to add another goal to her total in this afternoon's matchup, and Rooney shut the door. Now this shot comes through. Rooney got a piece of it. Out front was Eldridge, looking to get a stick on that one. Rooney got a piece of it, now trying to jump on the rebound, banging away on the side of the net, and the whistle comes up. And Rooney now will take a breather at the whistle. I need one as well, Julie, after that sequence.
Yeah, huge save by Maddie Rooney to keep this game tied at 2, but once again, who's involved in the offense and getting chances for her team? Alex Carpenter. Little give and go here between her and Jessie Eldridge. Watch the patience, head up the whole time. But Rooney, the extension of that right pad, and it looks like Alex Carpenter hit the outside of the net, but just kind of that extra little second effort by Maddie Rooney to stick with it, I think threw Carpenter off a little bit. But once again, the push from this New York team after the momentum that they've generated from the power play. Coach Howie Draper has to be so happy with how they've responded here in Minnesota.
And on the road too, I mean, trying to come back on the road is not an easy task to do. You've got the crowd against you, the energy is against you. So many things not in your favor. So to be able to know to come back in an environment like this, a job well done by New York. They still got some work to do if they want to come away with the win. They look to make that happen here. That shot sent in, goes off the end wall.
Well, and they came into the game 1 for 10 on the power play, so just trying to get pucks to the net, and they scored early on both power play opportunities, so nothing fancy, just throwing pucks to the net, hitting bodies in front, and getting those second and third looks.
And now a turnover. Downey Landry trying to send it in down low. The second opportunity. Rooney gets a glove on it. The third opportunity ends up behind the net. And New York really pushing here for the go-ahead goal. The crowd loving the effort of Minnesota defensively right now. This puck comes all the way down the ice, and New York picks it up.
Well, Maddie Rooney just putting on a clinic here, and the tides have kind of turned, I think, for Minnesota. This is kind of the effort that we've seen in the first period where the goaltenders have pretty much had to stand on their heads. So Maddie Rooney holding her team in it, tie game late in the third.
Another shot comes in there by Downey Landry, a pretty harmless one. Rooney sticks it away. Under 5 minutes to go in the third period. Toppany ran into the official there, lost the puck. And now we got a loose stick on the ice. It belongs to Ella Shelton. She picks it up. Carpenter sends it back behind her own net where Taylor Baker gets to it. Rock couldn't work it out of the zone, but Minnesota was moving in the wrong direction, so carried it out of the zone, and now back in they come. Toppany gets it in off the backhand, hits the side of the net. Zumwinkle whacking away at the puck, trying to center it. Couldn't get a second opportunity. And now Minnesota with a little bit of pressure. They've been on their heels, looking to change the tide here. Working away from trouble, sending it in, and Schroeder got a piece of it. Now to the point. Sent in by Channel, deflected, and that one went just wide. Shelton tried to get to it. Taylor Baker does get to it, gets it to the half wall, and out of the zone it goes. Jessie Eldridge carries it out. Rock backhands it towards Taylor Baker, where she gathers it up at the circle. Gives it off to Eldridge. The crowd re-energized now by the last sequence by Minnesota. 3.5 minutes to go. Minnesota carries it into the zone, handed off, centering, and that one got through everybody. Now back the other way, in transition, could be a 3-on-2, but the pass at the blue line draws them offside.
Alex Carpenter and her team have found a way to get back into this game and capitalize on their opportunities when they've been given them. But the big story of the game, stay out of the box, because anybody in this league, especially those top 5 players, when you put them on the power play opportunities, especially players like Ella Shelton, Abby Rock, and Alex Carpenter, they're going to make you pay.
Puck sent in up high, trying to work it in down low. A couple players hit the deck. Puck is loose along the boards, and it's taken by Minnesota. Now carried out of the zone. Down to 2.5 minutes to go here in the game. We're all tied up at 2. Steckline chases this one back. Looking for the stretch pass. New York was changing. Here comes Kendall Coyne. Schofield sends a shot in. Schroeder makes the save and sends the rebound into the corner. Coyne Schofield gets to the puck and sends it in deep. Zumwinkle in a battle there with Joanna Fallman. Now Steckline with it, sends it back. Steckline gets to it, a little bit of trouble. New York in on the forecheck, trying to cause some problems for Minnesota. 2 minutes to go in the period. Minnesota had a 2-0 lead after 1. They saw that lead evaporate and have been on their heels for a lot of this third period, but here comes Grace Zumwinkle. She's given Minnesota a lot to cheer for at the start of this PWHL season, but can't make anything happen there. Steckline sends in a shot. It got all caught up in some bodies at the top of the crease. Minnesota back to it, out front, looking for the wraparound. Zumwinkle banging away. The puck is loose and cleared to the line, not out. Now Steckline with it. To the right circle. Shot taken. Panic couldn't get it all the way through. Panic gets to the puck again. Now Toppany with it in the corner. Toppany gives it off to Zumwinkle. Zumwinkle looking, sends it in. It never got through. Deflected off a body. That was Carpenter who got in front of that one. Now Toppany tries to tuck it in short side. Nothing doing there. Now back to the point. Steckline rips it. Another block shot for New York. A couple on this sequence already. Minnesota is making them defend hard here.
New York has tired legs out here. They need a whistle.
Panic centering, and that one too hot to handle for Bookbinder. She has to hustle back now.
Last minute of
Rock
play.
carries it out of the zone. Last minute of play, Rock trying to cause some problems for Minnesota, but she was at the end of a long shift, so she'll head off to the bench. And Minnesota now will try to carry it out of the zone.
You can just see the strength right there of Abby Rock. She could easily just dump that puck into the zone, but used her strength to just kind of hold that puck along the wall, give her team an extra couple seconds to get more bodies on the ice.
Back behind the net with it. Now New York with it, back behind Minnesota's net. Minnesota carries it out. At the blue line, pushed in by New York, but Minnesota gets back to it. Perhaps one more rush here if Minnesota can get their skates moving. Worked up to the blue line, but just offside at the blue line was Britton Fleming. It was nice to see Marie Poulin get on the board. Minnesota did a good job of shutting her down when Montreal was in town. She comes back in the next game and nets the hat trick. That's what good players do as the final horn sounds here of regulation. Both goaltenders, as you said, giving their teams a chance here as we are underway. They're going to need to be perfect here in OT. Who will come out on top? We shall find out. Minnesota carries the puck up the ice first. Toppany hands it off. Kendall Coyne, Schofield, short side. The second opportunity by Heisey, no good.
Oh, Heisey just overskated that puck a little bit, crashing the net. You can see Schroeder was completely stretched out, but couldn't find a way to beat her.
Now Eldridge, who scored the tying goal in the third period, carries the puck in, lost the handle on it. It comes back out to the red line where Ella Shelton picks it up. Now Shelton carries it out of her own end. She's got Peyton Levis with her. Abby Rock now has it. Rock peels out, didn't like what she saw, carries it across the blue line, gives it off to Levis. Now over to Rock in the circle, trying to center, looking for the tap in from the slot, no good. Now Minnesota back the other way, brings a roar from the crowd. Dancing into the slot and losing the handle on it. New York picks it up but decides to slow it down. Bourbonnais for New York. They'll take it back behind the net.
Couple good defensive plays right there by Peyton Levis, just angling Kelly Panic off, not allowing to get the shot off, and even that kind of last puck that just kind of popped out to the middle of the offensive zone and just kind of outskated Kelly Panic, but great shift right there by Peyton Levis defensively.
About a minute and a half into the overtime session. Minnesota picks it up here in the offensive zone. Toppany bothered at the blue line, so she decides to avoid the trouble by taking it out to the neutral zone. She circles all the way back. We'll assess the situation. She's got Kava and Bookbinder with her. Gives it off to Bookbinder. Bookbinder now will get the wheels in motion. Now Kava sends a shot in and Schroeder makes the save. Puck just kind of sitting there after the face-off. Good job by Minnesota to push it out of the zone, forcing New York to start over here. Now Eldridge carries it in, faces some pressure. Good work by Steckline to take that puck away. Picked up by Heisey. Heisey carries it over the red line. Into the zone, Heisey dances in and takes the shot, but deflected off a stick. Here. Heisey gets it back. She's got Steckline and Coyne Schofield with her. Heisey trying to peel away from trouble. Comes in off the boards. Heisey in the slot, takes the shot, and Schroeder makes the save.
She's just so fun to watch and just so dangerous. Anytime she has the puck on her stick in the offensive zone, she's a threat. And you can see 3 players on her for New York, 1-on-3, but still manages to get a great A look at the net. But Schroeder able to shrug that one off and put it to the corner.
And now Zumwinkle comes in on the backhand, draws the penalty. The net is off its moorings, and a penalty shot is being called. The official pointing to center ice, Zumwinkle forcing the hand of New York, and now a chance to this game on the penalty shot.
Minnesota's addressed the penalty shot on the play.
And Rock asking for an explanation from the official. This crowd knows what Zumwinkle can do. They're hoping for a little bit more magic right now. Another look at it here.
Yeah, Grace Zumwinkle just uses her strength and protects the puck. Look at that, just shielding off Hobson. Gets a pretty good shot off her backhand.
Zumwinkle, Schroeder, the crowd on their feet. Zumwinkle fires and up and over the net. No goal. We carry on in overtime. 1:40 to go.
Well, Troy Ryan, who is will be the coach of the 2026 Olympics for Canada. I hope you're watching right now. Corrine Schroeder and what she's done, especially after giving up those 2 goals. I mean, she's 40 for 42 right now and has definitely put herself in a position to be that 3rd goalie come the 2026 Olympics for Team Canada.
Again, the goaltender of the year in the PHF last year in her time with the Boston Pride. She is a tremendous netminder. And now here's Shelton trying to dance past some trouble. Took the shot, but it went wide. At the red line, New York works it back into their own end. They'll slow things down with just over a minute to go in the overtime frame. The crowd urging on Team Minnesota to victory here. New York, though, with the puck. Carried in, could be a 2-on-1. Here they come. The shot and the goal! New York wins it! In the final minute of overtime. Emma Woods, the winner, silences the crowd here in Minnesota, and Minnesota is no longer undefeated.
Well, just what a shot by Emma Woods, but how about the play by Jade Downey Landry at the line to keep herself onside to allow Woods to just kind of take that puck in. Just got a step on Bookbinder, the defenseman, and what a shot to propel New York to victory.